In this lesson, we're going to look at writing overview in your IELTS academic task 1. It's very important that you write an introduction and you write an overview to achieve a higher mark. Okay, it's very specifically mentioned in your band descriptors that if you don't write an overview, you cannot score more than 5 for your task achievement. So very, very important. And in this lecture, that's what we're going to learn. So let's start the lesson. What is overview? It's basically a short summary of the graph or the chart, whatever is presented to you. It's just an overview of explaining the overall picture of that visual. Okay, so let's look at the activities that we're going to cover. We're going to cover the matching activities, and we're going to look at writing overviews. All right, matching. The first activity, what do the graphs show? So first of all, you should understand what the graph is showing you. This is the first thing that you should look at. In this example, for example, percentage of population of 4 countries. I will show you the graph in a minute, but I just want to show you, what are the things that you should be looking for in the start. So, for example, it could be percentage of population of 4 countries who traveled abroad between 2002 to 2012. What form are the numbers in on the vertical axis? Is it percentage? Is it numbers? Is it millions? What is it that you have been presented with? What is shown along the horizontal axis? Years 2000. I mean, what is your horizontal axis showing? Years 2000. It could be years. It could be different electronics, different types of things. But it makes sure that you look for the heading, you look for the horizontal axis, and you look for the vertical axis and horizontal axis. Let's say in horizontal axis, you've been given years 2002, 2004, 2006, 2008, 2010, 2012. And which countries are represented. For example, in this case, I'm just going to show you the graph in a minute. It could be France, Germany, Spain, UK. So all that information you need to look at to be able to understand what are you going to be writing about. All right, so in this activity, there are 5 graphs. Because of shortage of space, I've put 4 graphs on this screen, and then you will find the graph number 5 on the other screen. Let's just look at the some of these graphs. These graphs are the same graphs, but they have different numbers, all right? And you can always pause the video and go back at one screen and look at the graphs, but let's just look at one of the graphs here. What has been given to us? First of all, on the right-hand side, we could see we have 4 countries: France, Germany, Spain, and UK. On the vertical axis, you have percentage of population who traveled abroad on holiday. That's it's in terms of percentage from 0 to 60%. And then on horizontal axis, you've got years from 2002 to 2012. Now, all of these different bars with different colors represents one of the countries, right? So you've got France in that black kind of line. Then you've got Germany, which is like a off-white and white bar. Then you have this yellow bar, which is Spain, and then you've got a black bar for UK. Okay, that's the last one, which is a full black. So you've been given all this information in form of 5 graphs, and we've got 4 graphs here, and the 5th one is right here. The 5th one is here. So apologies, I can't put all of those 5 graphs in one screen, so you'll probably have to go back and look at 4 graphs, and then for 5th graph, you'll have to come back here and look at this graph. Let's just do our activities around these, okay? So below are notes which test takers made about the general trends in graphs 1 to 5. Make the notes match the notes with the graph. So what we're going to do, this is a matching activity. So I want you to I want you to read the responses, okay? These are general trends that you will come up with. General increase, 2006, lowest number in all countries. Germany is the highest percentage. Which graph is it representing? We've got 5 graphs, right? Then number B, C, D, E. Read all of them, pause the video here. You'll have to go back and look at the graphs one by one. You'll have to look at 2 screens. You will have to look at the first screen, which has 4 graphs. And then you've got the screen number 2, which will show you another graph number 5. Please, apologies, I can't put all the graphs on one screen. So you'll have to go back and look at those graphs and then do this activity. I would suggest that you write down on a notepad all of this information and then go back and review the graphs and match the graphs, which match represents that information, that piece of information, that piece of trend. And do this activity on your own. Pause the video here, and when you come back, we are going to review the answers. All right, let's look at the answers. So notes A represents graph number 5. And I'll quickly show you that. General increase, it says general increase. It says 2006 has the lowest number in all countries, and Germany has the highest percentage. Let's look at graph number 5. Is that correct? So you can see in 2006, you can straight away see that it has the lowest number in 2006, right? In all countries. And then it says Germany has the highest percentage. So if I go back here, it says Germany has the highest percentage. That's true. You could see, in this case, in all years, Germany has the highest percentage. And then if I look at the first one, this general increase, yes, it has general increase. And that matches graph number 5. So look at the answers. You would have come up with the same answers. Let's just compare your answers with these answers. Notes B represents graph A. Note C shows graph 2. And note D represents graph 4. And note E relates to graph 3. Okay, so I hope you got the answers correctly. Let's just do our next activity. All right, now we're gonna really learn how to write overviews. What is an overview? The overview is a very crucial component in task 1. You can't neglect this. If you neglect this, you can't score more than band 5, unfortunately. This is very important, and that's why I'm bringing the band descriptor here to emphasize the point that writing overviews is very, very important. An overview, what is an overview, by the way? An overview is a summary of main points. A summary, it's not general it's not specific information. It's general information. It's the main points, general trends of diagram. The students should always include an overview in the introduction of their academic writing task 1. And now overview can also be written right after introduction. So you'll write an introduction, paraphrase of introduction is basically paraphrasing the task, and then you write the introduction. You can write right after the introduction an overview, a paragraph that summarizes everything, or you can write in the end. Okay, if you're not running out of time, then it's good to write in the start, because then you're not going to forget it. You will have an overview in your response. If you have enough time and you're good with your time management, then you can write at the bottom. After you have written a body paragraph, then you can write in the bottom, and you can write overall this graph shows, and you just write the summary of it. Okay, this is not the introduction. Introduction is different to overview, but overview explains a summary basically. Okay, so it's up to you where you want to place your overview, but it's very important to write an overview. The reason why it's important, let's just talk about the task achievement. So one of the things that you're tested on, one of the skills that are tested in writing is task achievement. And in task achievement, you can't gain more than 5. So it says in band 5, there may be a tendency to focus on details without referring to the bigger picture. That means there is no overview. If you don't have an overview, that means you can't score more than band 5. You're just focusing on the details, and you're not writing the overall big picture, which is the overview, right? Band 6, you can reach band 6 for task achievement if you have a relevant overview is attempted. You have attempted the overview, but it's not polished, it's not clear. In band, you can achieve band 7 for task achievement if it presents a clear overview, the data are appropriately categorized, and the main trends or differences are identified. Okay, so I hope you got the point that this or writing an overview is super, super important, and you should write the overview. Now let's learn how to write it. All right, I'm giving you an example of an overview of how you can write an overview, right? A test taker has expanded their notes into into the overview below. Match the overview to one of the sets in A to E on worksheet 2. By that, what I mean is this, right? So you've got information, look at the notes, you'll have to possibly go back and match it. But I'm going to show you the overview, and I want you to come back to this screen, and I want you to look at the information and match this information on the left from A to E and match it to the overview, this overview that we have here. So I'm going to read it out to you, and you will have to go back one screen, and you'll have to two screens, and you will have to match from A to E which overview represents this one, right? So I'm going to read it out to you. There was an overall increase in the number of foreign vacations from 2002. However, trips abroad decreased slightly after 2010. Generally, in each year, a similar percentage of people from each country took overseas holidays, except for in 2006, when there was a big difference between France and the UK. So this is how you're going to write your overview, right? So you're writing general information, you're writing a summary, you're not writing specific information of how much percentages. You're not mentioning percentages here, you're just writing some trends from 2002, 2010, what happened, how did it grow, except for 2006, there was a big difference between France and UK. You just pick up few information which actually just summarizes the whole graph. Which graph are we talking about? Which letter? A, B, C, or D, or E? All right, go back and check the graphs again, but go back 2 screens and you will be able to see the graphs, and you will be able to see the information. And when you come back, we'll review the answers. Now, also, before I do that, let's look at our second activity. In this activity, we are going to, obviously this is an online course, so you won't be working in pairs, but answer the questions about the overview, right? Which words or phrases show that these are general trends instead of details? Which words in the overview do you think are mentioning general trends instead of the details? Then secondly, the question number 2, can you think of any other words, phrases like this? Can you think of more phrases that you can use in your overview to explain the general trends, all right? Number 3, does the candidate give any specific percentage in the overview? Yes or no answer, all right? Is it talking about a specific percentage or is it not? Which words, phrases does the candidate use to refer to percentage of population who traveled abroad? What words does the candidate use to refer to percentage of the population who traveled abroad? Think about what word he's using there, and write that down. And when pause the video here, do this exercise on your own as well. These are 2 exercises that you're doing at the same time, and when you come back, we will review the answers. All right, let's look at the answers. So question number 1, the answer is B. So if you look at this, this whole overview, this overview is about this one. Overall increase from 2002, slight decrease after 2010, similar percentage from each country in each year. For example, 2002, all between 18 to 20%, 2006, biggest differences, right? So this overview represents that one, right? So the answer there should be B. I hope you got the right answer. Let's look at activity number 2, where we asked you to look at the overview and answer some questions. So the first question was, which words, phrases show that these are general trends instead of details? Overall, generally. These are the words that you would use to explain general trends, okay? Not the details. And that's what you should be doing in an overview, not the body paragraph, right? Number 2, can you think of any words, phrases like this? Yes, you can also write in general or from an overall perspective, or you could write in summary, right? These are some of the things that you can use instead of that, but try to use them in your overview, please. Number 3, does the candidate give any specific percentage in the overview? No. In the overview, you don't need to mention percentages. You need to just mention the overall trend, okay? The information in the overview should be general. They will write other paragraphs with more specific details. So you will write other paragraphs laying out detailed information, but not an overview. An overview is not for that purpose. Numbers or other data should be mentioned in those specific paragraphs, not in the overview, okay? Now, which words, phrases does the candidate use to refer to percentage of population who traveled abroad? Future travelers, traveled abroad, trips. These are the words that are being used. Foreign travelers, right? These are the words that are used to refer to the population who traveled abroad. Foreign travelers, traveled abroad, trips abroad, all of these words are used. So I hope you got the answers somewhat correct. Let's keep moving. All right, now what you're going to do is choose a graph from 2 to 5. Again, you'll have to go back a few screens. And actually, I'll show you the screens here. 2 to 5, and write notes about the key trends and main features. So you will write an overview, please. Write down, first of all, before writing the overview, try to write main things so that it can help you to write an overview. So write the main trends and the main features, okay? From 2 to 5, just focus on graph 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just write general details, general features, general trends, and then you will write an overview. Please write the overview, pause the video here. We'll have to go back to this screen and this screen, and when you have written your overview, please come back, and then we'll review the answers. All right, let's look at the suggested overviews. So graph 2, the overall, so in graph 2, you must have had similar kind of overview. Let's look at how, and I will give you, these are just possible answers. It may be different from yours, but it should be similar in nature of the information that we are talking about here. So let's look at graph 2. Overall, the number of foreign holidays remained fairly stable, except for in Germany, where there was a significant increase over the years. Germans also took far more trips abroad than any of the other Europeans. That's the overview. Covers a summary, kind of represents a summary of the overall graph, okay? Graph 3, there was an overall increase in the number of foreign travelers from 2002 to 2012. Foreign holidays were most popular with citizens of Spain and the UK. Graph number 4, from an overall perspective, overseas holidays become less popular from 2002 to 2012, except for in the UK, where there was an increase in foreign holidays. Graph 5, in general, the number of people from each country who went abroad on holiday increased over the period, except for in 2006, when all countries took the lowest number of vacations in other countries. So you can see that all of summaries or the overall, the overviews are starting with things like overall, there was an overall increase from an overall perspective in general. When you're writing such phrases in the start of the paragraph, the examiner already knows that you are summarizing the information, you are writing an overview, and you can reach band 7 or higher if you have an overview. If you don't have an overview, just remember that you will not be able to achieve more than 5 bands for the task achievement area of the band descriptor. All right, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next one.